Hello everyone, it's Geneva again. Just call me G. I'm out here on the farm today. Today I want to do some canning of pineapple. Now we bought these on sale. Of course they go bad really fast. So as you can see they're kind of orangey. That's the best time to can them. So is when they turn this color. So since they were on sale, we've got a few of them and I'm going to go ahead and can them up. Because tonight I'm going to make sweet and sour chicken for dinner. So I'm going to save some for dinner and the rest I'm going to can. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You need a knife, some jars that you're going to put them in, either pine jars or quartz. I'm using quartz. A funnel that makes it easier to put it in the jar. And then you'll need a canner, and I'll show you that later. A pressure cooker. Okay? And we're also going to make like a simple syrup to put them in. Okay? Alright, so let's begin. Holding it by the stem, the whole thing, I'm just going to start chopping. Okay, all of that is going into the scrap yard. Basically, that's going to go to my chickens. Not really worried about that. It kind of looks like this has gotten a little bit old. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes the store, you know, they give it to you on sale because it's going to go bad. But this one like is really, really ripe. So I'm not sure I'm going to use this one particularly. As you can see all that browning in there? I don't want to use that. So we're just going to toss that out. And it looks like, you know, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to save any of this, pretty much. Maybe, maybe not. So let's see. That's not very good at all. So, okay. Now this is my last one. Now this one hasn't ripened to orange. It's kind of in between. See how this is orangey here and this is still brown? So let's see what this one looks like. Hopefully this is my last one, so hopefully it turns out really good. Hold it at the stem, slice down, going with the curves of the pineapple. But I think I've got a whole basket here full, so this is how much I'm going to can today. That was 4. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rinse these. Rinse them off, come back, chop them up, and start filling the jars. Okay, so we're back. I've rinsed them all off. And I'm just going to cut them into chunks here, throw them in my jar. Okay, you see this little circle thing? I don't know if you guys can see it, but inside here is a little circle. You don't want that in your jar, so I'll show you what I do to get it out. So I'm going to cut most of it off, and I'm just going to go around and trim the core. And the rest of it, just like that. You don't have to be particular. You know, save these little pieces for yourself. Like I said, you want to cut around the core. Nice big slices. Just like that. And then when you get enough, take your jar and just kind of shake it a little bit to get it to set right in that jar. Because you want to try to put as many pineapples as you can in here. Okay? So we'll just keep going until we fill it up. give it a little bit of a shake. Make sure they settle down in there really well. Trying to find that thing again. Okay. Looks like we can still keep going. I might only even get 2 jars today. I'm not even sure. Well, because those 2 pineapples weren't very good, so I probably, if they were good, I would have gotten a lot more. So, it's better to overestimate than underestimate, in my book. I'm just going to use that to kind of pack it down in there. I might be able to get, okay, you see this rim right here? You really don't want the fruit to go above this rim. There's a ring on each of these jars. And this rim, if you can see, do not let the pineapple go above it. If you can kind of see, I'm going to tilt it like this. Do you see how it's barely coming up over top of it? And that's fine. So we're just going to push it down in there anyway. I think you can see that's pretty good. Might add maybe 2 more. Let's see. Kind of push them down in there. Okay, I think that's great. So this would be a perfect example of how to fill it up to the top, just right here, and you stop. This gives it that inch space that you need when you can. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up another jar with using the rest of this, and I will be back. Okay, so I have filled up the jars with what I had. Unfortunately, the sale is off, so I won't be able to get any more pineapple for that price. So I came up with 2 jars and a little bit left. But since I'm making sweet and sour chicken tonight, I am going to reserve 1 jar to make my sweet and sour sauce. And so I won't be canning that and this little stuff. I'm not going to can that. I'm just going to go ahead and can this 1 jar. So if you ever get in a predicament where you're only using 1 jar, and that's all you have, then that's all you have. But I'm going to show you a simple trick to use in case you just want to can 1 jar, or you happen to only have 1 can to jar. So we want to put I'm going to use about 1 cup of water here. Ratio of 1 cup of water and 1 cup of sugar in here. I'll do it like that. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. Stir up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Just to get it to dissolve a little bit better. So it's not going to be really hot, and that's fine. You don't have to use boiling hot water to put on here in your jars. It's not necessary. It just depends on the pressure cooker, the temperature of the pressure cooker. Now, we're starting from a cold pressure cooker, so it's never been, it's not on the heat. So right now, we can just use room temperature water and we're okay. So, as you can see, 30 seconds in the microwave, and I'm just going to stir it up until it's pretty much completely dissolved here. Really want to see any granules in it. Okay, so, and that's what I'm going to do for this jar. I'm going to take the jar, I'm going to pour that in there slowly. You do it slowly enough, you can reduce the amount of bubbles that you're going to have. So bubbles are bad. You don't want bubbles. So about 1 cup actually filled it up all the way to the top. So that was really good. Okay, one cup. I'm going to shake it up and we're going to release those bubbles. I don't know if you can see the bubbles in it, but I'm just going to shake it up to release any air bubbles in there. We've already packed it down. We don't need to move the food around. We just kind of need to just give it a little bit of a kind of a shake until you can't see any more air bubbles releasing anywhere. Looks like we're good. Okay, so we're done with the sugar. And the water, I'll put over here. I'll put it back over here. Okay. Now that we have our 1 cup, or our 1 jar ready, I should say, I'm going to go ahead and get out the pressure cooker. Okay. Now this is my pressure cooker. You see the bottom of it, I use it a lot. So it has a tray for your jars, and there's the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here, and your jars are going to sit on here so it doesn't heat up just the bottom with the jar. Don't really want that. I've had jars break in here before, so I prefer just go ahead and put this in here just for safety purposes. But I've had them break with that in there too, so I don't know if it necessarily does any good or not. I'm not really sure. So with my 1 jar here, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off. So I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm just going to dip it in some water. Wipe it around, make sure there's no juice, anything that got on there. Okay. And I'm going to grab a lid and a ring. Okay. Now, I've washed these rings before. If you pre-wash them and let them dry, that's fine. Normally I do that. I get out a lot at a time, so I'm able to stick them in all at one time, and then I will rinse them and let them dry, and I'll stick them back in my drawer when they're clean. So I just went ahead and rinsed it off because I know that they're clean. So I'm going to put that on with the ring. And you're going to want to put it on there tightly. And let's see if I can get it on. Yeah, that's tight. Okay. So I am going to put that into the center. You see that, because I only have 1 jar. So I'm going to put it in the center of it. And then I'm going to fill jars around it so it doesn't move. Okay? Put jars in here. Don't necessarily have to fill them all the way full, just enough to keep them in there. Spill all over the place. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to grab an empty one here. Fill this one up. Now all of those are filled. Okay. The trick is that you're not going to be like putting all the water on top of here and covering them. That would be a water bath. We're not doing a water bath. We're using the pressure cooker. Water bath is basically for the big black kettles that don't have pressure on them, okay? So this here, we're going to fill the water in the container, in this pot, and you want it to cover at least probably about that much of water. So when you're looking in there and you're noticing the water's coming up to it about that much, you're good to go. Like I said, I'm using room temperature water because this pan has not been used today. So if the pan had been used, I would be using hot water, because using hot water with hot jars and you know, the bowl, this is hot, so you want to keep it all at the same temperature. So we don't want to break any jars. So this right now is fine. We're going to keep watering it so it's being, you know, you want that 3/4, I don't know, is it 1/4 and a half? 1.5 inches maybe on the bottom. I'm sure there's a measuring here. Maybe I can see what it is. Oh, it's 1.5 cups. So about 1.5 cups right here, up to that line there. See what 1.5 cups is. Okay. So I'm looking in here. I'm just going to keep pouring it in. All right. So this is 1/4 inch. And I know that you can't see that, but it is, like I said, it's filled up to about 1.5 cups. Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to put the lid on. So I have a lid here, and it has an arrow. You want to match the arrow with the arrow that's on here. It's an arrow right here. I don't know if you can see that, but the arrow is right here. I'm going to match those arrows up. Just like that. And then, as you can see, you can twist, and that's locked. Unlocked, locked. Okay? Don't ever be scared of a pressure cooker. I know it's very dangerous, but you don't have to be scared of it. You just have to use it right. So it has a pressure valve on it. This is the valve. And right now we have about 15 pounds of pressure. That's what I have right now. It's just the regular weight on here, and there's that extra 15 pounds, okay? I'm going to set that on top, and I'm going to put this on high and let that come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, it will heat up the pressure, and then it will increase, and then you'll hear this go ching, ching, ching. It'll start moving around like this. And there'll be steam coming out of it and go shh. That's when you want to start the pressure cooker timer. Okay, so since I'm using quarts, this is going to be like 25 minutes for these quarts to be able to seal them. So once it comes and starts going shh, I'm going to set the timer to 25 minutes and then let that process. Okay, and then we will be back. Okay, so we're back. Now, as you can see, the valve going back and forth. You can see the steam coming off of it. You turn this around, you see that the pressure inside has built up to lift this up. Now, it's totally fine. Okay? So what you want to do is you just want to leave it like this and let it cook. Now we're going to do the cooking time, and that's for quarts. It's 25 minutes. Pints, it's going to be 15. So I am going to head and set my timer for 25 minutes because it's a quart. And when it's done, when the timer goes off, we'll be right back. Okay, let me shut the thing off here for a second. The timer has went off, and as you can see, it's starting really, really good. Like I said, 25 minutes for the quart. 15 for the pint. So I'm going to take it off the heat, turn off the stove, and I'm just going to turn my fan back on and touch this valve. Just want to tip the valve over so that it will release the steam. The steam is going up into the microwave. I have my fan on, so it's collecting that steam. And once it's over, that valve that came up here, the pressure that will drop down. Once this drops down, you'll be able to open it up. But do not pull this off of there and do not open this up, okay? You want to make sure that you release all the pressure out of this pot, okay? So when it's done, I'll come back. Okay, so now all the steam is gone. The valve, you'll notice that the valve is down now. It has went totally down. So now we can take off the pressure. Okay, and you want to, I'm going to leave the fan running because I want the steam to go out. So I'm going to turn it to unlock it. Nice and easy to unlock. Okay, and you want to flip it so that the steam goes up this way, not towards you. You want it to go that way, towards the microwave. So when you lift, it's very hot. Lift quickly, turn it that way so that you can shield yourself from the steam, because that steam is really, really hot. Okay. Alright, to remove the jars, you will need one of these to remove the jars. Okay? So I'm just going to remove the one I want right now. See it bubbling and all that? It's great. We're just going to put it on a towel right now. And I'm going to check and make sure that the lid is screwed on tightly. Take a towel. Yep, it's still tight. That's good. Now you have the option of just leaving it here or flipping it upside down. You can do either or. Some people say that if you flip it upside down and let it sit there, it's going to seal. It seals better. Me personally, I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference, but I'm just going to leave this one just like it is. I'm going to let it cool. And this top right here is pushed up. I don't know if you can see that. But let me show you. I'm just going to take this jar that we had earlier. Okay? I'll flip the lid. Okay. So when it first comes out of here, it's going to have like a top on here that you can push in. You hear that snap? Do it one more time. That means that if you can pop it, it's not sealed. What it'll do is that when the temperature cools, it'll pop on its own. That means once you hear the pop, it is sealed. And you're just going to let it cool all the way so you can touch it, okay? Just let it cool. Okay. So once it's popped, just like that, this would be sealed, okay? So of course this jar is not sealed. I'm just using that for instruction purposes. As you can see, you'd be able to hold that and pop in and out. But once you've done this, and the jar will actually go poof, and then the pressure will go down on there, and the wax in there has been sealed. Once that's done, I'll come back and I'll show you. Okay, so if you look, it's cooled down to touch. It's still warm, but the seal has been pushed down on it just automatically from the jar itself. So now it is sealed. I'm going to let it cool down all the way, and then after that, it's already cooled. Then I can go ahead and remove the ring, wash around this jar and around the lip here. You want to make sure you wash it really good, leaving this little cap part on. Just remove the ring only. The cap part, you want to write on there what it is, which is basically, this will be pineapple. And then that's it. Once it's dried and cleaned, then you can put it back in your pantry, and it should last for years. You can leave it in your pantry, and then if you look at it in the pantry, you want to turn it upside down. And if you look on the top of the lid, if there's any black mold, don't use it. But usually you can keep it in your pantry for a very, very long time. And that's how to check to make sure that that it's still good. You just look at the lid and make sure there's no mold growing inside that lid. Okay? And that's how you can pineapple. All right, so my jar is cooled. And the seal, there's no bump. You can see the bump on the seal. So it's completely down. It's totally sealed. It's not going to come out. I'm going to go ahead and remove the ring. Sometimes it's a little hard to remove the ring. So I'm just going to take a towel. Once it's cooled down, it like totally sticks. And because we use sugar and water, that really doesn't help. It makes it want to stick more. And this is really not want to come off, is it? Okay, there we go. All right, so it can be tough at times, but never fail. You'll get it off. And so I just have some soapy water here, and I'm going to take a soapy rag and just kind of wash around, get the stickiness off of it. And you want to do that because if you put it in the pantry and you don't wash your jars or wash around the rim here, anything that, any food particles or anything, basically anything that can get on it, even sugar. This part right here, if you leave it in your pantry and you leave it in there for a long period of time, it will start to mold. So you don't want any mold accumulating on here at all. And like I said, if you find on the inside of the jar, if you look and you see how white it is now? If there's any mold in there, it is bad. Okay, so do not use that food. That is botulism. So right now we're good because we just canned it, and it should look like this before you use it. So it is sealed. It is not coming out. And we'll go ahead and rinse the jar. I'm going to dry it off, and then I'm going to label it. And me in particular, I don't, you can put the month. I just tried to put the year on there just so I know, because I know exactly when we do pineapple. It's usually we can it over Thanksgiving time. They have this sale going, so I usually know that it's going to be going on. So I like just to put the date on there. I mean, not the date, but the year. And then once that's done, 2024, and I just stick it in my pantry and take it out when I need it. Thank you for watching my channel. The purposes of my videos are to teach you something new. So hopefully you can go look at all my videos. I have more there, and I will keep putting more and more on. I'm just for the purpose of learning new things. And hopefully those who may already know how to can, it might help you in your ventures of doing something else. Maybe it's, jam, maybe it's something else. So just take a look at my videos, and hopefully I can help others to venture to do things and learn new things. Thank you for watching.